welcome back to the FantasyFlo Podcast. I'm with my dogs today. We are covering fantasy sleepers.
Yes.
See, I said it right this time. All right. So we're gonna start off with our first sleeper, and
You gonna go?
you want me to go with it?
Yeah, you go first.
All right, bet. Well, I don't know what I just said. I'm gonna go with. I'm just going to order. I got Jacoby Myers for the Raiders. Now his situation kind of doesn't seem like it's like, oh my God, he's a sleeper, but he is going late in drafts, and I think that people can pick him up. He had 182.3 fantasy points for the Patriots last year, and he was their number one. He's going to be a number two to Devontae, but I still think that there's going to be value for him. So he had 96 targets last year, 67 receptions. It's a pretty good ratio. 804 receiving yards, and he had 12 yards per reception and 6 receiving touchdowns on top of that. So, I mean, that's a solid number two, and I think that he could do that. Yeah, I mean, I think that he can definitely do that with Jimmy Garoppolo because he'll catch a lot of the little over-the-cross routes and, go from there.
Yeah, and I mean, you also got to put into perspective the team he was playing for last season.
With Mac Jones.
Exactly.
I think definitely Jimmy would run the offense better.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And he likes to throw the ball a lot. So,
and guess who he's going to? He's going to Mike McDaniels, who was also on the Patriots staff with him.
That's true.
It's familiarity. So
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, I got Isaiah Hodgins, Giants.
Okay.
Last year, he had 102.2 fantasy points, 46 targets, 37 receptions, 392 receiving yards, which he averaged 10.5 yards per reception and 4 touchdowns. Now, that may be a little low, but he was in Buffalo, only played 2 games, and then he went to the Giants, and Danny Dimes found him in the end zone and gave him some touchdowns, gave him some yards, and it was a lot. I think he has big upside if he keeps that trajectory going the rest of this year, next year.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and like we said, they had a depleted roster in receivers last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this year they went and like loaded up on a bunch of receivers, but I mean, like familiarity matters, and he worked with Danny Dimes last year, so it should work out.
Yeah, he built that rapport. They got a connection going. So
Yeah.
So my first pick will be Brandon Ayuk. Now he's been getting talked about heavily
Yes, he has.
in camp during the preseason games.
My guy.
This man has 228 fantasy points last season. 228 fantasy points, 113 targets, 78 receptions, 101.5 receiving yards, 13 yards per reception, and 8 touchdowns. Literally a year after Debo was the man in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And
He
Debo
showed
was playing.
everybody,
Debo
I'm him.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be him.
I'm supposed to be him.
100%.
Listen,
And that's why I'm going to get him. If he falls to me,
Yeah.
I'm snatching him up.
That's an easy wide receiver, too.
People might say, oh, it's going to be McCaffrey. People might say, oh, no, it's going to be Debo again. Nah, I got my money on Ayuk.
I think that McCaffrey is a standalone value on that offense regardless. Debo loses value because of McCaffrey. And I think Ayuk is a better receiver just in general.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
And
He was drafted higher than Debo. He was supposed to be
Exactly.
a wide receiver.
It's like he cashed in. Debo had a great season
Yep.
in his last year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they had to pay him
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or trade him. So, I mean, but I think that, he was doing all that running and everything, and
Yeah.
it definitely rose his stock. But once they started trying to be like, hey, you're a running back and we're going to pay you a little bit less, he's like, no, I'm a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And now the real receiver, in my opinion, the true receiver to his name, Ayuk, showed up last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
And fuck Debo anyway.
oh, man, that's how you feel?
Yes.
Yeah, they try to Cordero Patterson him.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Who you got, Alex?
All right. Chargers. I got Quentin Johnston. I like that pick because in my mind, Keenan Allen is on his way out.
His time is coming.
Yes.
So not to say that I don't think that Keenan Allen will still ball. I just think that, they drafted him because Mike Williams still has a couple years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He got a contract.
He has a contract, and now you got to start thinking about replacing Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
So and everybody's seeing the highlights, the one-hand catches, the route work, like he's doing his thing right now. So for his stats, Quentin Johnston has 60 receptions, 1,069 receiving yards, 17.8 yards per reception, 6 receiving touchdowns. So he gets a lot of chunk yards. He's a big body, and he gets to get the red zone targets. I'm just saying.
I know. I wasn't thinking that way.
Y'all got me triggered. I gotta make sure that I'm pausing when I see it.
Pause check.
That's it.
But yeah, I really like him at that spot, and he's actually going higher than Keenan Allen, surprisingly. So you might be able to get Keenan Allen for a steal in his later years, where he may be able to get like another good, possible 1,000 if he could stay healthy this year.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it makes sense to me because Keenan Allen only got so much time left. Like, I'd be surprised if he plays after this season.
No, exactly.
That's a high octane offense. So
yeah, they got to keep it rolling.
Plenty of room to go.
They got to keep it rolling for sure.
Definitely. For the Eagles,
oh,
DeAndre Swift. Mind you, this is a dual threat running back. Last year he had 99 carries, 542 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's only rushing. Receiving 70 targets, 48 receptions, 389 yards, 3 touchdowns on 14 games played alone. Now the Eagles, this is a whole new backfield, pretty much. And they got Gainwell and Penny, but what are they known for? All 3 of them known for getting hurt. Unfortunately.
Damn.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Damn.
But I think Swift can be a good RB2, definitely a flex option, just because the upside he has as a dual threat running back.
I agree. When I was looking at the stats, it kind of put some things into perspective for me because I had him on in Casper's league last season, and there was times where I was so frustrated with him.
Yeah.
Fantasy-wise, but you don't realize until after the fact. Like, he really put in some work.
Definitely.
So,
he sound like the coach. He knew you can do it. You could be running back 1. Easy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, listen, I with Swift, he was injury prone. He was like you almost picked him up last year thinking that he was going to be a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
And
he was my second round pick. I had Najee first, Swift second.
Story of my life, boy. I had my work league.
Yeah.
My work league, I sat there and literally like tried to like be slick with my running back options because it was a 10-man league. So I ended up having I picked Swift and I picked Dalvin Cook up because I thought Swift was going to be like steal of the year type thing.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, and then Dalvin Cook, he had little injury issues too sometimes. So it was rocky, but I mean I made it through that season. I didn't win, but I made it through.
What you got, Curry?
So my next one is going to be Rachaad White. Rachaad White. Last season he had 142.1 fantasy points. He had 129 rushing attempts, 481 rushing yards total, 3.73 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. And you also got to remember that Fournette was over there.
Yep.
And he was the one that was eating the most. So the fact that he was able to do this and now there is no Fournette, I think he'll do all right. I know he had a non-contact injury during, I think, practice. But I don't think it's that serious because they haven't really given any updating news about it. So it seems like it's something that's minuscule, and he'll be ready to go at the beginning of the season.
I feel that.
It's no Tom Brady there. You got Baker Mayfield there.
I think it's gonna be a run first team now. A new quarterback.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. But I think he's gonna be a stud this year if he could stay healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
Listen, Rachaad White is gonna have running back, not necessarily top 10, but he could be a top 20 running back. I think the pass catching ability definitely helps him a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the fact that they're not going to be a good offense per se, he could get a lot of dump offs. And a lot of game script where they may be behind, he could be catching a lot of that volume.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah. So this next guy is solely on upside for me.
All right.
It's upside because there's a vacuum, right? I'm talking about the LA Rams, Puka Nacua. I've never seen and I don't want to sound racist or anything like that, but I haven't seen a Chinese person or Asian or
he's Asian.
It looks like that.
That might be racist if he not.
Listen,
I apologize.
We don't mean nothing by that, so y'all chill.
Yeah.
If you It ain't no Asian hate.
Lord have
No
mercy.
AJ,
You ain't got to stop
it's
no
all-
Asian
it's-
hate over here.
It's all respect
Facts.
right now.
Facts.
That's all it is.
But word to Puka, because when I was looking at his stats, I saw that his rushing stats was nice
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah. I think he has a lot of upside. There's a vacuum because there's only Cooper Cup there,
Mhm.
and obviously his stats in college weren't like gaudy, but there's volume there, and I believe that his career in college in general was a little bit different. He had 48 receptions, 625 yards, 13 yards per reception, 5 touchdowns. It's not like Tank Dell's receiving stat line, but it's something that I think with Cooper Cup getting the major volume,
Yeah.
Van Jefferson kind of filling in there wherever he can, because I don't know, like Van Jefferson hasn't like blossomed into who we thought he should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that, like I said, it's purely on upside. There's a vacuum. There's somebody that's going to get those targets. I think he might get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
My next guy I got from the Titans, Treylon Burks. Now, Treylon last year had 88 fantasy points, 55 targets, 33 receptions, 444 receiving yards, 13 yards per reception, only 1 touchdown. To me, that's very low compared to what he was projected to do last year as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as you know, those rookie woes as a receiver. Not every receiver as a rookie is going to stand out. The issue happened with Drake London last year, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think with him knowing the team, having a better opportunity this upcoming year, that he could actually be at least a flex option, if not the number 1 wide receiver possibly
Mm-hmm.
in Tennessee, because that's what they drafted him for to be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is there.
Who's known to get injured.
Treylon Burks is injured at the moment.
Yeah.
He had an injury issue last year. So I guess the rankings are kind of correct, but I think his situation changes depending on how good the quarterback play becomes, in my opinion.
That is true. He did only have one 100-yard game, but that was against the Packers. So he has
That's
talent.
interesting.
He has talent.
Yeah, I mean, Jair probably was on him too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Treylon, but that injury kind of drops him down for me.
Yeah, he would drop down a little bit on my rankings only because the injury issue last year, the injury this year, DeAndre Hopkins. We don't know what's happening with Tannehill, if he's going to be the Tannehill that took him to the conference finals. Conference championship. Yeah, a lot of factors go into Treylon Burks for me.
Yeah, I feel you.
You on Kyrie, right?
Yes, Curry.
Yeah. My next pick is Alexander Madison. All right.
All right. Hey.
RB1.
Hey, RB1 right now.
We going to see
Unless JT
how that plays out. What?
I'm dead.
What he said?
What'd he say?
What did he say? 88.4 fantasy points, 74 rushing attempts, 283 rushing yards, 3.82 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. I know it ain't spectacular.
It's RB2.
Because there was a man named Dalvin Cook in town.
Yes.
And he was running the show.
And now he out of town.
Exactly. So,
yeah,
you know if he there, you picking him up.
Yeah, for
100%.
It ain't even a question.
100%.
I'm doing it. Every time Dalvin was out,
you had to start him.
he was balling.
Yes.
I mean, if you find him in the draft and it's at that reasonable spot, because as long as you're like, I feel like people are picking him up maybe 4th, 5th round. Sounds reasonable to me because the running back drop off from at that point, it's already
It's going to be significant.
Yeah, like from the top running backs to those running backs at that point.
At that point, you're getting deep sleepers.
Yeah. So Alexander Madison is a high upside. It's a risk because you don't know if he can handle the workload of being a number 1 running back.
Right.
But at the same time, we've seen what he's done in replacement of Dalvin when he's hurt. So I think that it does make sense that he has a high upside in going way over what they're probably projecting him.
Yeah. I think he has RB1 upside easy, only because, like you said, he did prove himself once Dalvin got hurt. And you did draft him banking on Dalvin getting hurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
And it worked.
I
Yeah.
did that.
It worked.
I did that 2 seasons in a row.
Yes, exactly.
But like we said before, it's just like same thing with Tony Pollard, same thing with Alexander Madison. They're both taking the number one role after being the backup to somebody.
Yes.
And when you're sharing, you can do a little bit more because maybe you're not getting all of the reps like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now he has the ability to be the guy that gets the most reps, and then you can produce a pretty good season off of that. The offense is definitely a functional offense,
Of course.
Yeah.
and I think that Addison from the Vikings, he's gonna help open up that offense too because Osborne is pretty good, Addison's pretty good, and all right, and then Addison's pretty good, and then you have Jefferson over there as well that they're already going to triple coverage as best they can.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Who's you, Alec?
it's me.
Yeah.
I got Zeke, right? So for Zeke on the Patriots, it's interesting, right? Because I've been getting a couple of reports. He's getting the goal line reps. The beautiful thing about Zeke going to the New England Patriots is that he reminds me of LeGarrette Blount, right? LeGarrette Blount didn't go for 1,000 yards rushing, but he definitely had about 10 touchdowns a game.
Yeah.
I mean, not a game, but per a year.
season.
Yeah, and I would think one season he led the league, right, Vic?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
touchdowns?
Yeah, I believe so.
Anytime they got to the red zone, he was punching it in.
Shout out to LeGarrette Blount. I need something for him.
Yeah.
I need something on the board for him.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I like LeGarrette Blount, and I think that Zeke, because I think that he will take LeGarrette Blount's type of role that he had with the Patriots back then. They're not the same team, obviously,
Yeah.
but I think that role is very prominent, and then Zeke can get his money's worth in that, and he's hard to take down when he gets to the goal line anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm gonna knock my two out back to back
Go
for
ahead.
time constraints. Jets. Tyler Conklin, tight end, 87 targets, 58 receptions, 552 yards, 3 touchdowns. He didn't have any 100-yard games, but that's a heavy receiving core. They got A-Rod now. I don't know. Corey Davis going through something. So
He
opens the door-
retired.
Yeah,
I didn't like that though.
It's opening the door for Tyler Conklin as a tight end
Mm-hmm.
with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
I mean, I think it opens Conklin is definitely going to be able to eat a little bit more too, but I think that McCole Hardman,
All those other guys are
Yeah,
gonna take,
they're
Lazard
gonna-
a bust. I don't care.
because last
Lazard's a bust.
season, I mean, they were struggling,
yeah.
and he was like the safety net.
He was.
Yeah.
He's gonna get looks for sure. Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers is gonna look at his tight end. Trust me.
Definitely. My next one for the Ravens and last one is Zay Flowers.
Oh, I love
He
that.
had an
pick.
Yeah, me too.
He had an ADP of 41.
Mhm.
Last year, Christian Watson had an ADP of 40. So if they projected the same, he has potential upside to replace and take Rashad Bateman's job, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
And
mean,
OBJ is OBJ.
don't even get me started, bro.
So
Don't even get me started.
I think it's a boomer bust type
Okay.
of player when
I
it comes
got
to
you.
Zay.
I got you.
I'm gonna run through mines.
Yep.
My last two started with George Pickens, but we had some technical difficulties.
As some might say.
George Pickens had 166 fantasy points,
Mhm.
84 targets, 52 receptions, 801 receiving yards, 15.40 yards per reception, and 4 touchdowns. I definitely think that he's going to be able to improve on his season stats from last year. And, I think Kenny Pickett has improved. You still got to worry about Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I think that George Pickens has the talent to be definitely a worthy draft pick.
I agree.
And then my last one, Tua.
Ah man.
Tua is on my list.
This is a lock, I would say.
Yes.
A lock.
Well, this is why he's on one of my studs.
Yeah.
People sleeping on Tua.
Yes.
That's why he's one of my studs. People are going to immediately think about Tyreek Hill. They're
Yep.
going to immediately think about Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
But folks are overlooking Tua, the person who's going to get them the ball.
100%.
And I'm going to tell you why. He played 13 out of 17 games. So even though he missed those games, he didn't miss that much. He played the majority of the season.
yes.
He threw for 3,548 yards passing, 272.9 yards per game. He had about 400 pass attempts that season, 8.87 yards per attempt, 25 touchdowns. He had a 105.5 passer rating, and he had a total of 239.9 fantasy points.
Balling.
Hey, drop a clues bomb for my dog.
Drop that.
And a horn, bro.
And the horn.
Damn right, bro.
Listen,
Most accurate quarterback in the league.
MVP Tua.
top
Yes.
20 quarterback
Yes.
last season,
Damn right.
and he's gonna do better.
100%.
He would have been a top 10 quarterback last year if he stayed healthy. So
Definitely.
anyway.
Definitely.
All right. I'm gonna run through my last two. I like these two a lot anyways. Seahawks, Jackson Smith, Najigba. I hope I said his name right.
Jigba.
Nick Jigba?
I
No,
don't
it's
know.
not Nick. It's NJ. So
Oh,
Jigba.
I think that's
Jigba.
right.
Nick Jigba.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
alright.
So, anyways, he has an injury at the moment, slight low wrist injury. They said it's a
3 to
possible.
4 weeks.
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a possibility
Slight.
he can get to week 1. I doubt it, but I also felt like it didn't really matter because I felt like the volume would have started coming to him a little bit towards the middle of the season anyway. A lot of these rookie receivers don't hit the just come out the gate just like balling out
It's
like
very
that.
rare, yeah.
Mm.
If they do that, like
You get a contract.
even Odell didn't do that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it took him like maybe 3 games.
Mhm.
So I think that they drafted him high. Lockett is getting a little bit older. DK is the guy, but I think that him and DK will probably end up getting most of the looks. He's gonna play in the slot a lot.
Yeah.
My last person is Jahan Dotson.
Mhm.
Jahan Dotson is is ridiculous. He had 130.6 fantasy points, 59 targets, 35 receptions, 523 yards, and 14.94 yards per reception, 7 touchdowns.
Mm.
He was getting touchdowns at such a high clip last year when he was healthy, and he got hurt at one point, and then he went cold for a little bit, and then right after that, he went right back to balling. And I can only see that he's gonna have the breakout season because as of right now, I think Terry is hurt right now.
Yes, he is.
Scary
yes.
Terry.
And if
Yes.
Scary Terry's hurt, they're gonna look to Jahan Dotson
They're
early.
gonna have to. They're gonna
So
have to.
I really like what's gonna happen with that, and I think that he's a lock to pick up and actually have somebody like balling out for you. And he's gonna go like mid rounds anyway.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's wrap this up, y'all boys. Appreciate y'all boys for pulling up again.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for watching the FantasyFlo Football Podcast. We are talking sleepers, studs, whatever you want to call them. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow. We out.
Deuces.
Focus on what matters, nigga, get about your feelings. We ain't tripping off for much, busy plotting on these millions. Keep it player, that's a fact, I ain't never going back. Couple bitches, good smoke, sip some wine, just relax. Come on, open eyes, staying cautious, I can't lack. We ain't tripping off no bread, hustlers make it right back. Keep it player, that's a fact, I ain't never going back. Couple bitches, good smoke, sip some wine, just relax. Come on, open eyes, staying cautious, I can't lack. We ain't tripping off no bread, hustlers make it right back.